he is. Now, I purposely, as he was sitting here during the break, I resisted the temptation to ask him before we came back from break what he thought of the Mike Tomlin move on the sideline and what you think the penalty will be, should be. Let's start with what you think of was he purposely...
Was he purposely doing it?
Yeah.
You know what? It's impossible for anybody to...
Yeah.
It's impossible for anybody to figure out whether he was purposely doing it. I find it hard to believe any NFL coach right now, Woody Hayes was a little senile when he punched that player. Obviously, Mike Tomlin is a very bright guy. I find it hard to believe he did it on purpose. I know if you look at the one replay in the end zone, looks like he may be just stepping out there at the right time. I understand.
That's me.
So
guilty. Go ahead.
Incredibly, John. I'm usually the guy that sometimes goes off the handle. Yeah. I don't. I just can't believe he did it on purpose. Okay. I'm going to say no. I just can't believe any NFL coach.
What was the reason
right now
for putting his foot out on the field?
He's an idiot.
He wasn't on the field.
No, wait a minute.
He wasn't on the field.
He's an idiot. And let me tell you something.
His feet are here. He puts his foot on the field, then pushes off.
Here's the deal, and now I admit I haven't been to any Steeler games this year, but I went to a lot under the Tomlin era. Yeah. And he's been pushing this for years. This gets down to his arrogance. Now I'm going to start again I want to repeat, I don't think he did it on purpose. Okay. But is he arrogant? Arrogant to the point that finally happened? Absolutely. John, I think I sat next to you at a game. I know I remember it. You may not. Where I said, well, look at Tomlin. He's like on the field. He has been doing this since he got in the league. And not only that, this is what makes it worse. And I didn't know this until I read it this week. The NFL issued a directive to the coaches this week. Yeah. Stay out of that white line.
Yeah.
That to me, that right there, I don't care if he did. Well, I do care. But nobody can, unless he comes out and says it, or it's incredibly obvious, which it's not. To me, it's not incredibly obvious. I'm not going to say he did it on purpose. I am going to say he's way out of line, and I think he should be severely punished. It is... You cannot have coaches coming on the field during play. I don't care what your intent is. You cannot have coaches in any sport. I thought Jason Kidd got away with murder, too, spilling a drink to stop a game. He should be out the rest of the year. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Well, that's insanity to have coaches determining games. Jason Kidd got fined $50,000. So what?
He doesn't.
He spilled a drink to get a timeout. That's an NBA game.
He should be suspended for that.
I think for suspended, you got to almost kick him out of the league for that. That is. See, but that goes back to our society tolerating stuff like this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all right. To me,
he was just trying to help his team win.
Here's the bottom line, and this is what this gets back to the arrogance of Mike Tomlin. He has been doing it since he got in the league. I'm not just saying it. I've been commenting this for a while, at least behind the scenes. I may have mentioned it a couple of times in this on the air in one of my talk shows. Watch him at a game if you're at the game. You really can't see it unless you're at the game. He's on the field. He's flat out on the field. They'll be kicking a field goal and he'll be on the field. It is, and finally, it came back to bite him. I think the NFL needs to make an example of him. They can't punish him more severely unless they threw him out of the league, which I don't think they should do that. But if they said you're gone the rest of the year, I think that would be a good punishment. Yeah, it's crazy for an NFL coach to. Could you imagine, John? This is where he really lucked out. Could you imagine if Steelers would have won that game? Yeah. Could you imagine if they'd have won that game? Now, again, because it's a different era in our world, it may have been a big deal, but it wouldn't have been the firestorm it should have been. That an NFL coach came off the sideline and almost determined a game. I don't care what his intent was. Right. He's an idiot. Get off the field.
Yeah.